morning. Good morning. Good morning. Woo. My goal was to come on at 10 o'clock. Good morning, everyone. It's me, your girl E, coming to you today for Saturday writing session. I got a late start this morning, but I wanted to do this before 11. Definitely before the afternoon. My goal was to come on at 11 o'clock. I mean, at 10 o'clock, but we are making progress because we are just under 10:30. All right, what's up? Again, it's me, your girl E, coming to you today for Saturday writing session. I'm still getting dressed. We are talking about writing, developing, creating, and this month we are talking about character development. I'm very excited because this actually studying character development has definitely um, helped me uh, understand a little bit more character, the depths of the characters, understand the backstories, understand the of course the protagonist's journey, understand the antagonist. I initially thought all the antagonists were bad guys until I really researched it. And they're not always the bad guys, of course. It could be the elements, it could be the circumstances. Um, and today we're going to be talking about the secondary character. I always loved the sidekick. I always loved the character that was right there supporting the main character. I truly, truly, truly love that. So before we get in, let's talk about some announcements. First things first, we have the writing masterclass. I'll be teaching on how to write your book, far as your character development, which we are doing right now, but more in depth, plot development, storytelling, and writing your memoirs. A lot of people have talked to me about writing their memoirs. I want to write my story. I've been told I need to write a book. Okay, so let's take this class and let's learn how to write your book, understanding that you are the character. You understand that the other characters, your mom, your sister, your cousin, your teacher, that class, the neighborhood bully, that class bully, these are all characters we have to know. We need to develop those characters as well. Understanding the life lesson, because you'll be focusing on the main theme, right? And we talk about that master class. Next, let me pull this up because I thought I had it. Give me a second. Where's the I will be at Half Price Books on September the 19th. That's a Saturday. Oh, there it is. In Monroeville. Here it comes. There we go. With my newest book, The Cultivating Nature of Naomi Cain, there will be a free gift with book purchase. I'm very excited about this because this book took me some years to write. And is it crazy? It's a short story simply because it's not an overwhelming dramatic book. So come, if you are in the Pittsburgh area, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, come see me. I'll be in Monroeville. That's kind of the outskirts of Pittsburgh. That is maybe Marysville, Monroeville. We're all within like 10, 15 minutes from each other. Half Price Books. Come see me September 19th from 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. Again, there's a free gift with purchase. All right. And then if you're interested in a masterclass, do me a favor, because I even went on my website and I even called GoDaddy to help me set up this link. My link, it just does not permit me to take payments online. So what I want to do is put up my email, send me a message, writersblockpub@yahoo.com, and say I'm interested in a master class, because this will be via Zoom, right? Via Zoom, and then I will send you a writing packet, a master class packet via email. We can do this, and it's from the hours of 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. And I promise you, I'll be on time, because I've done these classes before, and I do not like wasting people's time. And this will be, of course, it'll be, of course, informative and informational, because again, this is about writing a story. So send me an email at writersblockpub@yahoo.com. I will send you the Zoom link and your I keep saying writing packet, your masterclass packet for this event. Okay, let's get into it, because I don't like to dwell on announcements. Oops. Let's get me. Okay, woo, there we go. And I'm slowly even still organizing my den. This is everything. This little room is everything to me. This is my quiet room. my writing room, my prayer room. This is my room for me to enjoy. It definitely needs organized. I got everything in here. It's even a closet for my husband. And he has limited space, and I feel bad. I'm like, okay. I keep purses in here. Of course, you see books in here. I keep journals in here. Um, I like to crochet. I have crochet books in here. I just got a lot going on. Stuffed animals in the background, a whole bunch of stuff. But we won't get it organized. It's been a slow work in progress. Okay. The secondary character. Let's get into it. So we need to know what is a secondary character, right? The secondary character is an important supporting character who helps develop the protagonist, advance the plot, reveal the information, or strengthens the character's conflict. Take a sip. Let's look what I got. I got this. Let me see. I'm a big Golden Girls fan. Probably because I am one now. Look at that. I love this cup. Is it Dorothy? Dorothy's my favorite, but I have some Rose tendencies. But Rose is touching. Okay. And I'm drinking on my coffee. This is actually my second cup, as if I need more energy. It's actually Rise Coffee. This is not an advertisement or plug. I like Rise Coffee because it's not caffeine, but it gives you that coffee vibe. I add non-dairy creamer, vanilla latte, and I use a little frother thingy. I sprinkle cinnamon. I got my own latte. I don't need to spend $10, $15 on a latte. All right, let's stay focused. The supporting character is the important character that helps the protagonist in the advancement of the plot. Think of your co-star in your movie, your co-star in your TV shows. Who's a supporting character? Okay, because when you watch a TV show, this says starring, and then you put the star's name, male or female, and then they have the supporting. And it's a star, it's a show. The star has to deal with all types of shenanigans and whatnot. And the supporting character gives them the advice, sometimes good, sometimes bad. And the protagonist has to go about their day. Same thing in the movie. It's your supporting. You watch the Oscars, and the best supporting, the best supporting actor, actresses category, and then you get all the people, and whoever wins. So it's your sidekick. It's the Robin to your Batman. All right. So one of the ideas that you want to think about is the protagonist carries the story, right? This protagonist, like I said, it's a star. The secondary character helps shapes the character's journey. Think of your best friend. When your best friend has a problem, you are the supporting best friend. You're there to help your best friend and vice versa. So when you have the problem, that best friend is going to support you. All right. A secondary character can serve several purposes. One, of course, is support. We just said that. Encourages or assists the protagonist. Challenge questions the protagonist's choices and forces growth. Remember, your protagonist has to grow. I don't care how many times I've said it. I'm going to keep saying it. I don't care what any other writer says. Read. And then again, if you're not a reader, but you should be if you're a writer, or if you're trying to be a writer, you need to read. Okay. Find a book, find something. Don't read a magazine, don't read newspaper. Those are editorials, articles. Read a book. Go to your Barnes and Nobles, go to your Half Price Books, get you a fiction book and read it. If you don't know what type of books you like, look at the type of TV shows and movies that you watch. Okay. If you like the Law and Order, the CSI, the NCSI, get you a crime, murder, mystery. James Patterson, John Grisham's are the GOATs. Go get one of those because it's I'm not gonna say it's the same thing, it's not, but that's the genre that you'll be reading. It's the whodunit. Okay. If you are like me, like romance comedy, if you like good storytelling, fiction, I definitely read Toni Morrison. We all know that I'm a big Toni Morrison fan. I read Nicholas Sparks. I haven't read Danielle Steele in ages. But there's several fiction books, real life, I don't like to say love stories, but real life story situations that are great. If you like historical movies and stuff, go find historical fiction. I have a historical fiction right here. I bought this because I'm a fan of The Gilded Age. I haven't read this yet, but I just got this. And I'm looking forward to. It says in 1910, the Davenports were one of the few black families of immense wealth and status in the changing United States. Their fortune made through the entrepreneurship of William Davenport, a formerly enslaved man who founded the Davenport Carriage Company years ago. So it's an historical fiction. Okay. Now, if you're writing historical fiction, you got to know your facts. Because people will call you on it, especially people that read this type of stuff. Okay. And read. You have to read. So, that was a little commercial break. Supporting character is the courage and assist the protagonist. Okay. They challenge the protagonist, questions the protagonist choices, and forces the growth. We talked about they have to grow. Contrast. Show a different way of responding to same circumstances. You ever watch the TV show and the protagonist is, but then you got the secondary character, the best friend, who's kind of goofy. He kind of adds kind of a joke, or who doesn't really think the way the protagonist thinks, but they kind of add their own point. One of the prime example, if you are a Friends fan, okay, I love Friends. It's one of my favorite TV shows. First thing first, all the characters are the stars. There's no supporting character. They're all stars, right? If you notice in the credits, their names are in alphabetical order. But the episodes may deal with one character's specific problem. So in the episode, that character is, say, the star of that episode. It's mainly on their situation. The one episode where there was a Thanksgiving episode where Rachel had a crush on her assistant, and she invited her assistant out to the house for Thanksgiving, and she didn't really know how to address it. Like, I like him, I don't know, I should say anything, I can't because he's my assistant. And Joey basically said, just find out if he likes you or not. If he doesn't, it's a cow's opinion. And of course, the audience is laughing. It's like, what is he talking about? He said, it's a moo point. It's moo. It's a cow, moo. And it doesn't mean anything. And what he meant to say was a moot point, M-O-O-T point. But he said moo. Now, of course, and the typical character of Joey, who seems kind of, I don't want to use the word dumb, but not as intelligent as the others, made perfect sense. And she kind of says, because she was actually Joey's roommate at the time, she says, have I been living with him too long, or does that actually make sense? So the other characters may have not given her that type of direction or that advice, but his advice was perfect. So it shows a different way of responding to the same circumstances. It's a contrast, right? The consequences is affected by the protagonist's decisions. So if your secondary character is hanging out with your protagonist, and something happens where the protagonist makes a decision and the secondary character dealing with the consequences, okay, they are affected. They're like, now I got to deal with this because of what you did or didn't do. All right. Their information, they provide knowledge to the protagonist's need. Think of the Robin to the Batman connection. They link the protagonist to another person, community, or conflict. They may be that bridge that the protagonist needs to get to a certain level in the book. And the emotional depth allows us to see sides of the protagonist that might otherwise remain hidden. So once again, think of the best friend. Your best friend is going to know you very, very well, very, very intimately, and they may pull something out in you that you may not know that's in you. Of course, that your readers might have seen it, because your readers are very perceptive. Like, I see that. I see all the way in it. But your secondary characters will say, nope. Remember that we talked about the protagonist, the lie that they believe. And your secondary character might be able to tell them why the protagonist believes that lie. So they say, well, everything I touch fails. Well, why do you think, why you think that? Because when you were a kid, this happened. So now you move with trepidation because of stuff that happens in the past. Something to think about. Knowledge. Okay. The point number 3, the secondary character gives their own identity. So your secondary character is not the same as your protagonist, and is definitely not the same as your antagonist. Even though they are not the protagonist, they should still feel like a complete person. So you have to have character development with the secondary character, from the looks to their way they sound, their talks, even nervous tics, stuff like that. Develop. So let's develop this. The background. Where are they from? Who shaped them? What important experiences had they have? So think about that. Okay. We can look at their personality, their strengths, weakness, habits, values, fears. Okay. You may not have to go in depth as much as the protagonist or antagonist, but your protagonist may be strong physically. It might be, the body man. They may have weaknesses. Can't get my, oh no, the shirt's seeming too big on me now. I may be slimming down. All right. What are their habits? What do they value? And their fears. Okay. Or relationships. Who matters the most to them? How do they feel about the protagonist, and what do they want from the protagonist? So the secondary character, how do they feel about the protagonist? Because they may not like the protagonist, but on this journey, they are required to help the protagonist. And what do they want from the protagonist? Are they going on a journey because they're going to get some money? They're going to be compensated? Or do they want to go on this? Do they want something in return from the protagonist? It's something that you really, really got to think about in your story. Okay. The secondary character is not always the best friend. I like to think of it as the best friend, but it's not always the best friend. It can actually be the neighbor. You could write a story about a community. Okay. You want to give them a personal goal. Okay. One of the biggest mistakes writers make is creating secondary characters who exist only to help the protagonist. Give them something they want. Again, that's back to relationships. How do they feel? What do they want? Just prime example. Save the family business. Secondary characters leave town and family pursues their own career. Now you have a natural tension. The protagonist needs them to stay while they need to leave. All right, but your secondary is like, no, I got stuff to do. I got my own life. Their goal does not always have to oppose each other, but they should have their own motivation. Okay. Next, establish the relationship with the protagonist. Ask these questions. Why are these two people connected? What is the connection? Then determine what the secondary character brings out of the protagonist. They might bring out the protagonist's courage, jealousy, or compassion. They might bring out the anger, insecurity, ambition, humor, fear, loyalty, or selfishness. Something that your secondary character. So something to really dwell on, because again, it does not have to be the best friend or the sidekick. It's just the second character that forces the protagonist to shift gears. Okay. This relationship becomes a tool for your character development. All right, tip number 6, create conflict between them. Who doesn't like conflict? I'm not I'm dramatic. But I'm not the type of person that deals with all that drama. No, I'm not dealing with all that. Supporting characters shouldn't agree with everything that protagonists. They don't have to agree. You're wrong. They're the ones who want to tell you you're wrong. They may challenge the protagonist because they have different beliefs, goals, values, experiences, loyalties, and exceptions. That disagreement can force the protagonist to consider their choices. Give the secondary character something to lose. They value something, so give them something to lose. Ask what happens to this character if the protagonist fails. And just as importantly, what happens if the protagonist succeeds? Sometimes the protagonist succeeds, creates problems for someone else. That makes the secondary character more connected to the stakes of the story. The secondary character just as valuable as the protagonist and the antagonist. Give them something to lose. All right, give them a small character arc. Not Every secondary character needs a dramatic transformation, but important ones should experience some kind of change. A simple secondary character arc could be the beginning, they believe something, the conflict, events, challenges that belief, the decisions, they must make a difficult choice, and the ending, they either change or deliberately refuse to change. Their arc can complement the protagonist's arc. Give example. I'm Another TV binge I like is Blackish. Anthony Anderson and Jennifer Lewis as his mother, and of course Tracy Ellis Ross as the wife. Now there was this episode where Tracy Ellis Ross was having her fifth baby, who they named Devontae, and they were going for the first ultrasound to hear the baby's heartbeat. And the episode was about faith and belief. And Zoe, the oldest daughter, said, I don't know if I believe in God. I don't know. I don't know. And of course, coming from a black home and a black family, the beliefs is generally to believe in God and Jesus Christ. And of course, Jennifer Lewis's character, the grandma, was Black Jesus. She was just carrying on because she's a firm believer. Anthony Anderson's character, Dre, is a firm believer. Rainbow, Tracy Ellis Ross, is more of I believe in something else, but let's allow her to figure it out herself. But Zoe was just like, I don't really know, because this was going on and this is going on, and why would God allow that? And so when they went for the family went to listen to the baby's heartbeat, it seemed for a long minute, 5 minutes, that there was nothing, which could seem extremely alarming and nervous to the parents. But then next thing you know, you hear the sound of woo, woo, that sound on the ultrasound, and then you hear Zoe in the background saying, "Thank God." Okay, so which means that she eventually does believe. So in the beginning, she believed because it's something that she was raised in. By the time she reached a certain age, her late teen years, she challenged that belief. She had a good argument as to, is God real? They were trying to make a difficult choice. Do I believe or should I not believe? And at the end, they either changed or deliberately refused to change. So she ended up changing that there is a God, I believe. But that's just my personal thing. But that's something that you want to give your secondary character a character arc. We're going to talk about character arcs next week, because character arcs is a lot. Okay? And that's basically all we have for today. I hope you have a great, great, great Saturday. Pittsburgh, we don't know if it's going to be blazing hot or pouring down storms, but nonetheless, have a safe Saturday.